machine, and you have to follow this, open that, take this out, pull this out. There it is. Then you got to put it all back together. So it took some time to figure it out. I'm sorry for coming in late. So anyway, those of you who do not know me, I'm Mike Lee, Program Coordinator of the ASL Interpreting Program. I've been at the college 26 years. I've been teaching 23 years. So my job is to see to it that the program is in, what's the word I want? That we're following state requirements. That's my job. Make sure curriculum is updated. To make sure that you get the classes you need to progress through the program. And I'm going to say this with kind heart. If you go to an advisor, make sure you go to someone that knows or is familiar with the program. Because there have been times where students have been put in classes they should not be there.
Professor Lee, speaking of advisors, we actually have our program advisor here in the room.
Come up, come on down. You've been chosen.
So if you just don't mind introducing yourselves so everyone knows.
Come on up. I'm Mike. Nice to meet you.
Good afternoon. My name is Jordan Moss.
You are her. Okay.
Me, I'm probably a lot of your advisors. You probably don't know, but I'm Jordan. She. I'm located at the Central College, right here on the second floor. So yes, advisors do advise wrong, but that's just because sometimes they're just misinformed about the program. So if you ever want to meet with me, I'm right here all day, every day. A lot of you I have met before, so it's good to see some of your faces. So if you ever have questions, just reach out.
Okay. With that said, and I'll get to the degree plan here in a minute. But I want to go over the handbook, which is critical for the program, for you, staff. So, there's some policies that we have in place to help you in a time that you don't fully understand what's going on in class. So I'm going to explain all of this. We have tutors, we have lab assistants, Professor Kaufman, Professor Giglio, myself. And Professor Wardy. I don't see him. Okay. The four of us are here to help you with any need that you have for the program. Dr. Stagg, young lady right here, is our dean.
Hi, hello.
She became the dean of February. February? March?
Yes.
February. She was our department chair, and then she went into the dean's position. Our interim dean is Dr. Tanya Pope. She's probably teaching a class today, but she's our interim chair. She's, I believe, at Haley campus. Dr. Stagg is here on this campus. We have me, Annie, James, Roxanne. We're the full-time instructors. Adjunct instructors. How many have or part-time students? more than likely, you're gonna probably have one of the adjunct instructors if you are part-time. Oh. Yes. I'll add your name to the list. I'll add you. So,
So we also have a new adjunct,
Yeah.
Professor Shara Moore, and so she is teaching our interpreting one course. We're very honored to have her with us.
okay. I'm not gonna read everything to you, you can go over it yourself, I'm gonna hit the highlights. The critical information that you need to know. One of the things, by the way, I did some research in this program, we are coming up on 38 years. I found an interpreter who went through the program in '87. So we've been around a while. So, with everything that's going on in the interpreting field, changes in the field, what we have to teach, stress that y'all go through because you say, I can't do it, you can do it. You can do it. It just takes time and practice to be able to get the signs down. One of the things that we do, we recognize deaf and hard of hearing community as a group of individuals with a disability but a linguistic cultural minority. Okay? This is where we, as interpreters, fill the gap between the hearing world and the deaf world. So, with this, we bring what's going on in the field, we bring it to you here. What was last week's information is now gone out the door. What used to be a sign is no longer a sign. Pizza. This is what I've used all my life. The sign is now changed. And I don't like the new sign. You gotta pretty much dislocate your shoulder to sign it right. So I just do this. But signs evolve. Signs evolve. So our job, instructors, keep up with what's going on. What goes on out there, we bring here to show you. So, the interpreting program is designed to provide quality ASL and interpreter education by offering comprehensive series of classes, including but not limited to ASL, the culture, and the interpreting process. So, if you take an ASL on the degree plan, it's SGNL. It's placed on academic because a lot of people take ASL as a foreign language. So, if they take it as a foreign language, then they can transfer it to a four-year university and it will count as their foreign language. Here, ASL is a component of interpreting, SLNG, therefore we are an interpreting program. We are not an ASL program, we are an interpreting program. You're here to learn how to be an interpreter. If you want to know more about ASL, deaf culture, let Roxanne, me, James, Danny know, and we can get you that information. Lamar University has, undergrad deaf studies. We refer you to that university. And they also have an interpreting track if you want to get a bachelor's. I'll talk some more about that here in a minute. Our state certification is BEI. It's the Board for Evaluation of Interpreters. The interpreting program for BEI has been around since I want to say the late 80s, early 90s. There were 14 people, interpreters throughout the state, who got together, that went to the legislature and said, we need a testing body for interpreters to test, make sure they have the appropriate skills to be an interpreter in the community. Texas Commission for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing, TCDHH, was formed. The first commissioner was David Myers. He's retired. The name of the program has changed. It's changed. Today it's under Human Health Services? Health and Human Services. Okay. So, BEI, they are the people who administer the written exam, the TEP, the English proficiency exam, and the interpreting exam for the basic exam. I'll get to that here in a minute. So, pass TEP, you're halfway through. Now you have to concentrate on your interpreting ability for the basic exam. And we'll go over all of that when we get into some classes, but I'm going to touch on it very briefly. Careers in the interpreting field, education, community, medical, legal, theater, mental health, religious. The list is out there. Video relay service, video remote interpreting, VRI. James does VRI interpreting, I do VRS interpreting, part-time. And she does community. All fields have different stressors. Okay, don't ask me which one's the easiest, because they all have stressors. All right? So, I did community for a very long time. I got tired of miles racking up on my car. And by the time I paid it off, it was time to buy another car, because I had over, or close to 200,000 miles. But I live way up there in the north by the airport. But, if you want to work for an agency, I know the agency owners, and I can refer you to them. You want to work with a school district as an educational interpreter, I can refer you to the school districts. I know majority of the program coordinators at the school districts. We all know people. So we can lead you in the right direction to find a job. Now, let me explain this. Here in Harris County, and the surrounding 13 counties, there was a study that was done 2 years ago? Yeah, 2 years ago. And for every 300 deaf and hard of hearing in the area, there were 1.5 certified interpreters. 300 to 1.5 certified. That's just in this area. That doesn't mean Austin, San Antonio. I don't know what those numbers are. I just look at our area. Jobs are out there. It's just how bad do you want to do it? How bad do you want to practice? How bad do you want to retain the information so you can practice. The more you want to do it, the more you're going to get involved in the deaf community, the interpreting community. So with that, the pay scale for interpreting. Overall, I'm not going to tell you this one. Overall, the average pay is right at $32 to $33 an hour. That's just the average. So, with that, if you want to work for an agency, you can. If you want to be a contract interpreter, you can do that. That's pretty much where you work for yourself. And you can pick and choose the assignments that you want to do. Agencies, you pretty much go where they ask you to go, or where they tell you to go. So, it's out there. There's a lot going on.
How do you want to add to that, Linda? Several years ago, the National Association of the Deaf and the Registry of Interpreters for the Deaf, our professional organization, declared a national emergency. There are not enough interpreters to meet the need nationwide. Professor Michaels is giving you some stats locally. What that means for us is that when we go through this program or whichever program and we demonstrate our skills by examination and proving we can do what we set out to do, we have job security. Interpreters will be able to work until our arms fall off. And then you may still be able to get a voiceover job somewhere if you can read ASL really well. Interpreters are in high demand, crisis level at the national level. Demand for interpreters of color. Many communities want to see interpreters that look like them or sound like them, look like us, feel like us. So if there is a place where you are looking to belong, the interpreting world probably has one or two for you.
One of the themes about being an interpreter in DEI, we were here first. RID came a year later. But how many people, take a guess, ASL in 1 through 10, where would you rank ASL most used? Of all the languages that are used, 1 through 10, where would you guess ASL is at? Sure?
Say 7,
Seven,
3,
6, 7, 4, 4, 4, 9. It's the 4th most used language in the United States. U.S. government has declared ASL is the 8th hardest language to learn. So we're in the top 10 for the hardest language to learn. But we are the 4th most used language. Now, Roxanne, you want to talk about the socials and please? We're going to be this paperwork here.
Alright guys, so we made a new paper for the Deaf Socials in the Immersive Lab. And so I do really appreciate every time you have any comments about this document because it helps us to make things better and easier and more efficient for you. So, just to kind of talk about Deaf Socials, so you are required to do 10 Deaf Socials every semester for our courses. Now, the nice thing about the Deaf Socials is that we live in the greater Houston area, or ours, what did I say?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. I haven't
That's what
confused
made
you,
me look at the
so it's okay though, I can do it. So you have to do 10 hours of Deaf Socials. The great thing is that living in the greater Houston area, you have so many opportunities. We have lots of socials in the Katy area, Sugarland area, the Woodlands, in Pasadena, Baytown. So the best thing that I could advise you to do is to join our GroupMe. So who is on the GroupMe? Awesome, wonderful. The group me, think of it as a business group chat. So we're only on there to talk about what socials that you see being posted and you share them. Because I can't see everything. James can't see everything. Mike can't see everything. So if you see, like Kong is here, so he's really good about sharing the Deaf Asian social that happens in Sugarland. I didn't even know that existed until he started posting it. So we appreciate that. But if we post something and you say, I can't go because it's my sister's birthday, you don't have to say anything. Okay, it's just for us to communicate. That'll help keep the chat more condensed and less busy. Any questions about the group me? No? Yes, go ahead, Kappa.
On the paper for, I think it was introduction to the deaf community, the QR code to join the group me wasn't working.
Okay, we'll look at that later together and I'll help you out. There's another question I saw another hand. Go ahead, Miss Linda.
On the social, how do you know which socials are teacher recommended?
Oh, right. So if they're on the group me, they're approved to be a deaf. So deaf socials are that your hands are up and you are signing. Sign language is not a spectator sport, right? Have y'all heard that before? I think that's in one of our classrooms. We want you to go to deaf socials so you can practice signing. We do not want you to go to deaf socials and sit on your hands and just watch. I know it's very nerve-wracking. Trust me, I've been there. I sat on my hands for 30 minutes at my very first deaf social in Beaumont. But I eventually took my hands out and I put them up and I started signing. And you have to take those baby steps, because if not then, later doesn't work. Start now. So just some guidelines. So we are changing something before I go into that bottom part of that paper. So we want you to put the date, the event, and location. However, we're changing a little bit of what we are requiring. This time, you don't have to get a signature from a deaf person anymore. So we're getting feedback from people in the deaf community. They actually don't like that. They almost feel like you're there just for the signature, right? And I see some heads nodding that have probably seen that or heard that being said. So what we want you to do is tell us, who did you meet? Also, there's a very funny man in Sugarland. His name is Larry Butler, and he will trick you and say his name is Lazy. He's playing with you. His name is Larry. He's a good friend of mine. Don't fall for his tricks, okay? But you'll say, I met Larry. If you met Lazy, I know exactly who you met. And then tell me a little short reflection. We talked about my birthday and like what I'm gonna do for my birthday, and just put a little bit of a reflection, especially like I learned that birthday has so many signs. There's birthday, birthday. I mean, what a great conversation to have. What did you say? Oh, I've never seen that. With the candles, birthday. So we want you to write that. We feel that we'll get a better idea of what you're learning at these deaf socials by reflecting on it. No more asking for a signature. Yay, right? If you want to take a photo, you can totally do that, all right? But you don't have to turn in a photo, right? Okay. Any questions about that top part and what to fill out? Okay, great. And then, so just some guidelines. Number one is, these are approved experiences where you interact with someone from the deaf community. Also, I would encourage you to use the GroupMe to your advantage. I live in Pearland, I live on the south side, so I would probably go in the GroupMe. Hi, I want to go to this social. Does anybody want to carpool with me? If yes, then send me a direct message so it doesn't flood the GroupMe. And I know a lot of y'all carpool already together to socials. And there's power in numbers and there's comfort in numbers, right? So it's almost like the deaf club that we're trying to get into, and we have to know people on the VIP list, okay? So make some friends, go somewhere. If you're really, really nervous, send me a DM and I will try to meet you there, all right? Let's see what else. We do offer virtual options because we understand that life is busy. So the virtual option that we offer is called Sign On Connect. And we'll pass around more specific information about that, how to sign up for them. They will be in the assignment, but Sign On Connect is you, at any time of the day, any day of the week, you set up a time to virtually meet with what they call a deaf ambassador. These deaf people are trained to work with all levels of ASL. From ASL 1 to I just learned my alphabet, to ASL 4, I'm learning how to tell whole narratives. And so what I love about them is, and so I'm looking at Lindsay because I know she did it. So Lindsay would submit for her assignment like the summary of what they worked on, who she worked with, and they would give the feedback that they would give her. So I love just all that information. Did anyone else do Sign On Connect? Okay, great. So if you join, I always get the name of the organization wrong. What is it? The Deaf Society, the Society for Deaf Children.
The American Society for Deaf
The
Children.
American Society for Deaf Children. You can pay $25 to become a member and you get 5 free sessions. Those are 30 minutes each, but because you are directly interacting with the deaf person the whole entire time, we give you an hour credit. You're welcome. Okay? As opposed to being at a deaf social where you're sitting on your hands for 10 to 15 minutes until you can say, my name. I get it. I've been there. I was nervous, right? Let's see what else. And that's on there. Any questions about deaf socials?
Professor, can you tell us what things would not count as a deaf social?
What does not count as a deaf social is if you're interacting with people that you already know. I have a coworker that's deaf. Can I talk to him during lunchtime and then can that count as a deaf social? No. My dad is deaf. Can I take my dad out to dinner and that's a deaf social? No, that is not a deaf social. So those are not deaf socials as far as anything else for that I can think of. No, as long as your hands are up. But if you are cautious, please let us know. Oh, like Sade, I remember you had asked me when I had you for ASL 1, like you had an experience like at a concert and you knew some of the deaf interpreters and they invited you. And so she checked in with me, I gave her the thumbs up and she did it, right? So great. Deaf socials are an extension of the classroom. So in the classroom, if we're being very, think about what it's like being a student. In the classroom, you're watching someone teach you how to do these signs. And we're talking about all the 5 parameters. We're making sure that accuracy is being taught in class. So when you go out into the real world, you put all that into practice. And honestly, I got corrected more at deaf socials than I did in my own classroom. Just because it was a totally different environment. So just think of deaf socials as an extension of the classroom. Okay. Any questions, concerns? Yes, ma'am. So it's $25, and then once you sign on to be a member, you get 5 free sessions with Sign On Connect. So we'll put all that information in the actual assignment for you. I just didn't want to clog this paper up too much. Go ahead,
I have
Sade.
a question. So if the purpose of the deaf socials is to sign and to have like that experience, then if we're signing with people that we already know, why is that not considered credit, I guess?
If you live with them and work with them, I would not count it. But if they're people that you see all the time at a deaf social, that's okay.
It needs to be a deaf hosted event. Sign On Connect is a deaf hosted, The socials at Starbucks and Bojangles and wherever, those are deaf hosted. If they were a deaf event, we're good. Don't need to interact with my friends because we all know some sign language, or I've got a neighbor or a friend boy that is deaf. That's not enough. It needs to be an event.
Yes. Go ahead, Susanna.
It's not a question, it's a comment. This is a definite improvement. I like this.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear you say
I
that.
think this is a lot better and it's, any critiques that I would have had last semester, that's the, that it wasn't deaf-centric enough for me. And this is a big.
Right. And I like what James said, me and Lindsay, I've had Lindsay now for I think 3 or 4 semesters. I'm used to how Lindsay signs, she's used to how I sign. But when you go into a deaf social, you see so many variations, and that's real life and that's real world, and so we just wanted to expose you to that. But does that make sense? As long as you don't work with them or live with them. I think that's a nice, pretty goal. Yeah, we'll talk about it later?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, any other questions about deaf socials?
Yes. We're hearing mixed numbers about the membership for the American Society for Deaf Children. In Prince, we've seen 35, is it 25 on the form?
I did not put that information
Okay,
in here, but I can look.
okay.
It might be 35. Oh, okay, yes, it's 35, I apologize. It's amending. Okay, now let's talk about the immersive lab. So we are very, very, very lucky, and we can thank also Dr. Steig, but she helped to set up our very first ASL immersive lab in our building. So we're very lucky. U of H, I know they have one too, but Lone Star does not. So this is not something we should take for granted. We should really utilize the services that we have here for free to students. I don't know about y'all, but I love free, especially for tutoring. And you know how much people charge for tutoring? Ridiculous amounts. I have 2 middle schoolers. What do you say? 40? It's crazy. So you're telling me that people can tutor me for free on campus while I'm already here? I don't have to drive anywhere? Yay! Right? So we want you to go to the ASL Immersive Lab. So in our ASL Immersive Lab, we have kind of like stations. You can like record yourself in one station. Another one you can work on the computer, work on TrueWave. We also have something called a VCR. And that's our technology called a VHS. And so if you don't know how to work it, just let us know. Okay? We'll teach you. But Mike has tons of really great VHS. I think I donated some of mine that are in there. We're gonna work on, Miss Cat is gonna work on cataloging those for us, right? And so we're excited. Also recently, someone donated tons of books, sign language books, deaf culture books. There was one book in there from 1966 from the very first American School for the Deaf. It was Deaf Idioms. Yes, so Diana has that book, and I'm not forgetting that. We also have lots of tables to work with our tutor and our lab assistants. So why go into the lab? The lab is completely voice off. If you don't know what to do, if you don't know what to sign, and you're nervous, and I get it. I've been there where I'm processing and I understand, but then I want to do it inside, and oh, I stopped processing. We have whiteboards for you, okay? So don't fret. You can write back and forth. We have Carlos Macias is our deaf tutor. And then we have Dawn Robertson. She's our lab assistant. She is also deaf. And then we have Kennedy is somewhere here. Kennedy is our new lab assistant. So we're really excited about them helping you and supporting you in the lab. So go in there for homework. If you don't have any homework to work on, which I don't know how that's possible, but if you don't have homework to work on, if you want to just chat, just go in there to chat, okay? And again, your hands are up and you will get credit for a lab visit. So I put on there the room number, and we just got new AC, guys, and there's nothing better than AC that works in August in Houston, Texas. So those are 5 ASL immersion lab hours. We also do allow you to do virtual lab hours. So on the bottom, I put Carlos, Dawn, and Kennedy's email addresses, so you can email them to set up a time to do a virtual lab session. And you can have more than one person in a lab session. So I clarified this with the tutoring center. So because Carlos is a tutor, you have to go kind of a different route with him. You have to like go through the tutoring center, but I have bookmarks that I got from instructional day that I'll put in the lab. Really easy steps. So you have to book through the tutoring center to get Carlos. But with Dawn and Kennedy, you can just email them. They'll set up a Teams meeting, and then you can meet with them online. Any questions? Yes, ma'am, Ms. Stephanie. I know, so that's kind of not, so this is the first semester this has happened, only because Carlos is on leave right now for medical stuff. And Kennedy, do you know when you're starting? Not quite yet. I'm hoping in the next 2 weeks.
She
I'm being
starts
optimistic.
September 1st.
Oh, September 1st, y'all. Right around the corner. Trust me, I will let you know. We will have the moons out. Right? Why not? That's it. That's all.
Applause, applause.
Okay. With that said, another reason, I think she said, why you go to the socials is so you can see how deaf people do not follow ASL rules. Okay?
Darn those deaf people.
We're supposed to sign right, but they're gonna do what they want, when they want, how they want. And then I gotta figure out what they're saying. So, welcome to our world. All right, any other questions about what we've already talked about? Okay. All right, benchmarks. Each class has a set of benchmarks that you have to meet. If you're not doing well, and you're struggling, we are not gonna let you fail. We have a lot of things, we have a lot of tools to help you to get where you need to be. Use the tools so you can do what you need to do so you can be more successful. We encourage encourage, recommend you make a B or better in your courses. Because these courses are stacked. They're in sequential order. We start with ASL 1, and you go all the way through ASL 4. You make an A, you get a B, and then you start realizing this is a lot harder than I thought. So in ASL 3, you make a C. A lot of degrees were made with C's. And then you go to ASL 4, and you realize you're missing something between 3 and 4, and you struggle, and that C can become a D. College says D's will transfer on, but in this program, you're not going to make it with the D. It's just going to set yourself up when you get to the interpreting side. Because on the interpreting side, we don't teach you how to sign per se, we teach you how to interpret, how to listen, how to understand what's being said, think about what was being said, and what signs I'm going to use to put that message out there. That's what we do on the interpreting side. So, these are all the courses that you have to have that you're going to be tested on with these benchmarks. So, I will tell you, finger spelling, where is it? That is a class, if you will, that's, okay, I got it, I understand it, but once you get out of it, you're going to have to stay on top of it. My mom used to tell me, finger spelling is the first thing you learn, but it's the last thing you'll master. I've been interpreting for 40 years, and I still struggle with some finger spelling. Again, it falls on the fact that the deaf are not clear, but yet I can figure it out. I have other, take my finger spelling class, I'll teach you how to fill in the gaps. James has his way of teaching it, Roxanne has her way to teach it, but bottom line is we all teach the same material, but we do it in different segments, okay? And the other hard class that we have is sign to voice. Normally, I don't recommend you taking that class until you've had interpreting 3. You are watching an ASL signer. It might be pure ASL. It might be half ASL, half English. It might be straight English. But they're signing, and your job is to voice it in English. Good English. That's why we have the TEP, so we have to know English. Voicing is not easy, but once you get used to it, you'll be okay. If you go to VRS, VRI, you'll see it all the time. Well, that's all it is. You're watching a computer monitor and signing. Okay? So, but we'll talk and explain why this is what it is. Okay? The other thing that we need to talk about, I'm going to jump back to, before I get to this, I'm going to jump back to, let's go ahead and jump to the last couple of pages. The degree plan is set up so that you can take these courses together for that semester. So your first semester, you'll be taking EDUC 1300, ASL 1, Intro Deaf Community, English Common. That's your first semester. Second semester, here's what you'll be taking. If you see intro to the interpreting profession, I'm sorry, if you see interpreting in the education setting being offered in first year, second year, first semester, don't jump there and take it. Because you'll mess yourself up when it comes time to register, when you start getting to those courses. Ms. Jordan, she'll help you. If she doesn't know what to do, she'll get a hold of me. I will help you. James will help you. Roxanne will help you. Annie will help you. Because it's confusing. Very confusing. And the way the state has things labeled, for example, if you look at SG&L 1401, beginning American Sign Language 1, that's how the state has it listed at the state level. I can't change that to ASL 1. I want to, but I can't. But if you look over here, ASL 2, beginning American Sign Language 2. But when you get to ASL 3, it is intermediate American Sign Language 1. This is where a lot of the advisors get mixed up, because they see American Sign Language 1 instead of looking at the rubric number, 2301. That's how the state has it. I have to follow that. If I have it my way, it'd be ASL 1, ASL 2, ASL 3, ASL 4. Life easy, but it's not. So all the classes are set up to go together. Now, when you get to second year, first semester, everybody should be able to start taking vocabulary development. SLNG 1248. That is a course to help you prepare for the written exam, the English proficiency exam. There's 5 sections. There are 16 questions each section, total of 80 answers, but you have to pass it with a 55. I like the way James says, an F minus. However, take that class, you have to have 30 credit hours already. Because what's going to happen is by October-ish, we're going to have you start filling out paperwork to send to the state to take your written test. Because that class is specific for the TEP. Now, the other thing too, for internship, school districts and some agencies are requesting that interns have passed the TEP. They make the rules, we follow it. So, James is over internship. So if you have questions about that, he'll be able to answer you and guide you where you need to be. But, the vocab development, we have it this semester. Roxanne's teaching online, I'm teaching face-to-face. I had a young lady come to me the other day, she said, I have a master's degree, can I go ahead and take it? Yes, you can. Because you've already satisfied the 30 hours that the state requires. Now, hint, 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 listen. If you have 30 credit hours, a bachelor's, master's, you pass it, bring me the paperwork, then you'll get what's called credit by exam. You don't have to take that course. We'll fill the paperwork out. Dr. Stagg will sign off on it. I'll submit it to the transcript office. That's a class you don't have to worry about. However, if you're in my class, I don't know how Roxanne has it. If you're in my class and you take it tomorrow, you pass, read me the paperwork, you get an automatic A for the class. There's no need for you to come back to the class because you already passed the test. This course is to help you prepare for the test. I don't teach English. My English is horrible, nasty. It's awful. It's ASL. Awful. I can't spell because I've become too dependent on the computer to spell it right for me. And if I'm standing in front of the board and I'm writing and I start finger spelling to myself, y'all catch it. And then I'll start writing it on the board. So, the other issue that we need to be careful of, the practical. This event, they are starting their intern hours. They just did 3 hours, 4 hours Saturday. Of intern hours interpreting at the Ensemble Theater. We have some things coming up for interns for a play that we will be doing in October. Interns will be interpreting, come out, support the students, and watch what we do. So you have a better understanding of how we do it.
Bring a deaf friend.
Bring a deaf friend, yes. So with all of this, any questions about the degree plan? If you're part-time, there's a part-time degree plan on here as well. Yes.
So the way the degree plan was posted up there, that imagines an ideal world where, you know, money and work and children and jobs and automobiles are not an issue, and that, you know, there were some semesters that had 4 or 5 classes, which is like 12 hours, 15 hours, 18 hours. Some of us may be in a place where we can take 6 hours of a semester. Some of us may not. Please know that's okay, but please know if there were 5 classes listed in this, let's say the first semester, and I only took 3, that's cool. The next semester, you may want to try to catch these as soon as possible so you're following the sequence as closely as possible, and so that you are just better prepared for the next things that come along. Sometimes when I'm doing it myself, or I've gotten some help from advising, that wasn't Jordan, somebody that's like, oh, let me plug in some numbers and yeah, these classes are available, and you hodgepodge a schedule, you may end up in classes that you're not ready for. This last semester, a couple semesters ago, we had a student that the advisor, I think, meant to put them in ASL 3, but had put them in interpreting. Very different. Very different. So, as you know what your situation is, and as you hopefully connect with us and connect with Ms. Jordan on getting your schedules together, we can figure out how close to the ideal you can run so that everything works smoothly, and when you take classes next semester, you've had what you need this semester to prepare.
All right. The other thing too, you take your written exam, you submit your application to the state with money. They're gonna do a background check. If you have something that's questionable, let me know, so I can call them. And they can run it by the AG's office. They do it case by case. I've seen people who've had a criminal background, but were able to become an attorney. So if there's something questionable, let me know so I can reach out to BEI, and they can reach it up to the AG's office. Also, also, if you do school districts or internships, you have to be fingerprinted. That's a state law. So you'll be fingerprinted. I think with the new system that schools, that TEA is using now, it only does Texas. It doesn't do anything outside the state. But the AG's office, they go NCIC, which is National Crime Information, and the TCIC, which is Texas Crime Information. So just let me know. All right. The other thing, to be eligible for the state, for the written, you have to be 18 years of age, not have committed a criminal conviction, denial of a certification, and whatnot. So, 2012, you have to have an associate's degree to be eligible to take the interpreting exam. The interpreting, or the associate's degree does not have to be interpreting. It can be in basketball. All they want to see is that you've been to college, you have an associate. The majority of the people that apply for interpreting have gone to an interpreting program. Okay? All right, let's get back to this real quick. If on the ASL instructors, if they see you are struggling with ASL, they're gonna take this form, they're gonna fill it out. And they're gonna send it to the lab assistant, to the tutor, to let them know that you will be coming to see them, to work on whatever it is that you need to be working on. This is another tool that we use so that you do not fail. We go above and beyond to make sure students get the material you need to be successful. Okay? Now,
Mike,
yes,
can I add something about the lab?
yes.
I forgot to say this earlier, but in the lab, they cannot help you with quizzes or any tests on TrueWay. So just know that you can't go in there and say, is this answer right? They're not gonna help you with that part. Okay? Also, the lab and the tutor and the lab assistants can choose to deny a signature for you if you are not in there practicing with your hands up. So going in there and recording yourself for an hour doesn't count as a lab hour. You have to be interacting with them. You need to practice your ASL. Also, another thing about deaf socials is some deaf socials are categorized or promoted as, here we're having a deaf social. Expect in those areas for signing to be a lot faster. But ASL socials are specifically for ASL students. So they'll have a lot more patience with you. Someone told me that distinction one time and I thought it was a really good thing, so just wanted to share that.
Okay. Now, once you fill out your paperwork for the TEP, it's taking anywhere between 30 to 45 days to get it into the system. You can take the written exam at West Loop, Lee College, Wharton Community College, Sugar Land, University of Houston, Sugar Land. There's a list of where you can take the TEP. Sadly, it's not technology. We still do it old-fashioned pen and paper. And then they submit it back to Austin, and it takes about 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks to get your results back. Okay. Now, you want to do the interpreting exam. The performance for the interpreting, where you face it. It's a 6-month waiting period. So they're trying to speed it up. exam, you have to wait 6 months to take it again. That's the policy. You have to wait 6 months to take it again. On the interpreting side, for the performance, you have to drive to Austin and take the test. At one time, they were only testing basics on Tuesdays. And then you had advanced, you had masters, you had medical, and you had court. Well, because basic exam got backlogged, they're trying to speed it up. BEI got their hands slapped hard from the governor when they started testing people outside the state first. BEI is recognized in 28 countries, or states. I think it's 28. So that's why basic exam got messed up. When you fill out the paperwork, I'll help you, James will help you, Roxanne can help you, we'll help you get it filled out. You'll see what's available, and we'll put on your application, this is the day I would like to take it. They will get the paperwork, they will cash your money first, and you will not hear from them for 2-3 weeks, and then you'll get an email through the night that says, we have your information, when do you want to test? You'll go to Austin, and you'll take your test in a room that's the size of a hearing auditorium. Thank you, audiology booth. Okay? And if you're claustrophobic, I understand people have had issues, medical issues, because of claustrophobia, and they try to change it up. So, but you have to drive to Austin and take that test. Now, if you don't pass, that's fine. Go ahead and apply quickly, because it's gonna take another 6 months to get your name back on the books, and you gotta wait 6 months to reapply anyway. And they'll tell you to go ahead and apply as quickly as possible. So, there's some changes with BEI on the interpreting exams. I'm not gonna get into all of that right now, but there's some changes happening. So I'm hoping it will happen quick. So if you have any other questions about interpreting, what to do, let us know. We'll get you there. Okay? One of the other things about interpreting, there's a list of things that you have to do, that you have to have. By the way, you're going to hear the Code of Professional Conduct preached to you again, and again. What's the first one? Keep your mouth shut. Don't share confidential information with your friends. Same thing in the classroom. Confidential. So the first tenet, everything's confidential what we do. So, my explanation, keep your mouth shut. That way you won't get into trouble. Okay, the essential functions to be an interpreter. This is what BEI has set up. This is from the state level. The interpreting programs did not have a say in this. But this is what they require. So, obviously, to be an interpreter, they want you to be able to hear. Now we have certified deaf interpreters. They're going back and they're going to change this. Because they're doing a whole category for CDIs. This is for interpreting. Okay, you have to be able to talk correctly. Facial expression. dexterity, moving your hands, your fingers, wrist, finger speed. We don't want you to come down with carpal tunnel syndrome or repetitive motion injury. We teach you how to do signing correctly so you don't hurt yourself. In the interpreting field, we do a lot of critical thinking, analytical skills. We're listening, we're thinking, we're trying to figure out what they just said. Is it this way or is it signed this way? So we have to be able to do this. We'll talk about all of this when you get into interpreting profession, interpreting classes. We'll piggyback on all of this through the courses so you know what this is all about. James and I, interpreting 2, interpreting 3, short-term memory. That's critical. So we teach you how to set up your short-term memory. If you're telling a story, 3 little pigs. Pig number 1, I put him here. Pig number 2, over here. Pig number 3, over here. Big bad wolf, over here. I set it up. I don't have to keep going back and signing again. Pig 1, pig 2. I just point. I point. It makes my life easy and I have to remember where I put them. Because the last thing you need to do is point to this one when it should have been this one. It happened. But we teach you short-term memory. We teach you, again, English language, expression. If the deaf person is excited and they're signing way out to here, and I'm voicing, I'm to match what they're signing. So it's, okay, here's an example. So, there's this deaf person calling their mother because mom had said something wrong, got to the husband, got to the wife, and the wife or the daughter is calling the mom. And she's going, and that's how she was cited. And this is what the other interpreter, what the hell do you think you're doing to my daughter? You said it wrong. She signed way out here expressing anger, and the interpreter's voicing it like, no big deal. Wrong. So we'll teach you. If they're getting excited, we're going to teach you how to match that level. Okay. Questions?
Professor Black mentioned earlier that there are some changes going on with the state testing system. Change is always going to be there, whether we like it or not, whether we plan for it or not. When we have the latest and greatest information from the state, and we have the latest and greatest information from national, of course, we can warn you, as you prepare for these exams, keep these things in mind. However, as those things could change now, change tomorrow in any venue, what we primarily want to teach you is how to interpret well. When, gosh, a handful of years ago, I think it was the state of Michigan or Wisconsin, one of those, they started using our BEI for their state certification system. And a person emailed me because they're like, hey, you're an interpreter and you're in Texas and you're certified in Texas. Can you come up and teach us how to pass the BEI? I wrote back very politely, thank you for your email. As good practice, teachers don't teach a test. Good teachers teach information, good teachers teach skill. And so I said, I am neither willing nor able to teach you how to pass the BBI, but I can teach you how to do good interpreting. I never heard back from them.
Yeah. There's some changes that are coming about. I'm hoping it's for the good. But we'll keep you up to date what's going on. As far as the testing goes, that's beyond us. We have no control over that. Just yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir. Thank you for your time. We'll go with that. Anybody have any questions? Yes.
Is there consequences to interpreting without being actual certified for it? Just a curious question.
Say it again. Is it possible to interpret without being certified? Or okay, yeah,
There you
okay,
go.
consequences. The only
Much better.
interpreting that mandates a certification and its law is court, is legal. If you get caught interpreting legal and you're not certified, shame on you. You will go to jail, do not pass go, do not collect $200. They will file Class A misdemeanor, Class B. It's a big chunk of change and you can do up to a year in jail. I haven't heard that happen yet. Medical, they have a medical exam, but it's not required yet. I'm sure it's gonna happen. Now, I don't do legal. I just, when I was a cop, that was enough. I don't like how lawyers twist your words around. So, I don't do that. I do medical. I was a firefighter paramedic for 25 years. I love medicine. I do a lot of medical interpreting. I get to go where a lot of people, surgical staff can go. And you take my special topics class, I'll tell you where you can go and how to hold your hands if you're in the surgical room. So you don't contaminate the field. Doctors don't like their field to be contaminated. Okay? All right, we are at the end. Questions, comments? All right, if you have any questions, any